Hey guys, Monk52 here, and today we're going to be covering Aigle. Now, modules, here we go. Aiming systems, definitely a better option here. Dispersion, main battery, torpedo traverse, just basic for DDs. And again, propulsion, which is pretty basic for most DDs as well. You could go steering, but I think propulsion is much better for getting out those sticky situations. Now, Aigle is special, as in premium destroyer, French destroyer, the only French destroyer to have a smoke screen. The only one, so it's played a little bit differently from other smoke screens. It's got really strong guns, really good gun power, borderline better than the Gaspar, but it doesn't have the main battle reload booster, so that is something to note. In terms of commander build, we're running for the extra HE shell damage. We're running contact as imminent, not subsurface venture, because we do not want to debuff our guns. Guns are really good on the French DDs, and debuffing them is sacrilege in my opinion. You definitely want to use contact as imminent or the anti-A, but I think contact as imminent is better for the extra knots for your torpedoes. Very important. But yeah, don't debuff your guns in a French DD, you'll regret it. Fragile threat, I wouldn't recommend it for the HP loss. It'll go all out, it's very situational, so look at me now, it's just the standard better option. You could run Torpedo Safari, but it does limit your gun range, but gun range is not as important for DDs unless you're running something like a Kappa. And Standard Fall is a good option if you're going full gun build. You could run the alternative commander, the gunboat destroyer. You could run Smoke of the Water, this is the only French DD where it's actually viable, or you could run Destroy Be Destroyed for additional speed. And additional speed is very handy. The shell grouping is a problem, yes, but there's a way of shooting that you can get rid of that basically. Give me speed as if you're feeling really ballsy, and Unstoppable is a safe and secure choice with Eric Bay Inspiration and Vladimir Trubisky. You could run William Sims, but I prefer Vladimir for a number of reasons I'll discuss later on. So yeah, that's my build for the Aigle. Without much further ado, we're heading into a match. So the Aigle is, as I said, the only French DD with a smoke screen, and it does have a lot of firepower. It's very good in gun power. It's actually, I would say, my build can outgun almost anything at tier 5, any DD at tier 5. It would give the Mayhan a run for its money. I don't think it might not win against the Mayhan, but it would give the Mayhan a run for its money. What really makes the Aigle and other French DDs really strong is the fact that they have the French saturated armor scheme. So it's not really shown in the armor viewer, but the French armor saturates HE very quickly. So you get damage saturated a lot faster than other DDs, giving you the advantage in terms of gunfights because you take less damage from enemy HE, because each module you have on the ship, the bow, the stern, the midsection and so forth, take less damage after they've been saturated. So after they've reached a certain damage threshold, they take minimal damage, so less than a penetration of HE. It's a very interesting gimmick, and I recommend looking up saturation, damage saturation, if you want to know more regarding that subject. But the Aigle and other French DDs have this, making them very good in gunfights. That's why I have Vladimir as an inspiration, not necessarily Sims, because I do believe that there's a chance that Sims might buff those HE modules, and Trubisky does help just reduce the damage you take, so it's a little marginal, and that way you get saturation a bit faster. I could be wrong about that. That's more an opinion, and I wouldn't recommend that. Saying, you know, I'm not gonna swear to that in the masterclass. So, as I said, this map here, you really want to fight DDs. This is what I run for with Aigle and other French DDs, because you don't have the smoke screen. Contesting caps is a good idea whenever possible. When it's not possible though, you really shouldn't be going for it. I understand DD sticking to the spawn, it's a good thing to do, and I understand the opposite being on the other end when you're not in a DD, but the best thing you can do in a DD is stay alive. And if you can cap, great, but if it's going to cost you your life, it's not worth it. Despite how a DD may seem bad at first, if it stays alive in spots, it can provide some valuable data for you and your team. Anyway, we should probably get on to the game. As I said before, Aigle and other French DDs at low tiers are not that quick, so you do need to be aware of that, and that is kind of important. Fortunately for us though, we have a smoke screen, so we can actually be a bit more static, and we can play that bit more static, careful way. We see a Bayern here. He looks like he's sailing a consistent course here. London's popping up here. He's giving a nice broadside. I kind of want to switch to AP and murder him. French AP is very good. And Bayer's gone dark. I still think he's going about here now, just by counting the seconds in my head. Hopefully the enemy RDD will not run into smoke. It will not run into those, but oh, he's dodging them, that's good. Alright, we see the London here. I really want to smoke up and shoot him, and I do this, but unfortunately as soon as I smoke up he does turn away, and he's a bit angled. So he's taking some shots at the slightly angled grass B. See what we can get there. We can hit him. We do, we get some good pens there, as you can see, and then the London opens up his angle a little bit, and we straight sit into him. Aigle and all most French EP actually murders cruisers very well. Because you have the smoke screen, you can really just park up to a cruiser and absolutely rip them a new one. By the way, that Bayern, those predictive torps worked really well. You got Deadstock with just 4 of them. You know, these things really do. There are 6 torpedoes, only 6 torpedoes, but they do pack one hell of a punch. Because I'm running Destroy Be Destroyed, the shells can be a little bit lofty, but I've grown used to the firing arcs for that. If you don't feel comfortable, you could run smoke in the water for the Aigle, but be aware you probably need to switch back and forth for the French DDs, because you don't really actually have a skill that doesn't do any debuffs, or really kind of need to do a skill for French DDs, to be honest. You know, since we don't have smoke screens, I don't see why we only have one skill to pick from, you know. It's a little bit lackluster, but well, that's something for wargaming to answer for. Anyway, fire some torps off on the Fubuki, and we're going to push on to try and hunt him down. He's the only DD left in their enemy team, so hunting him down would be a great play in terms of getting rid of their eyes, even though he is smoked up at the minute. Getting rid of the DD threat is incredibly important, and you could do this in an Aigle, especially with the health I've got. So you could push the cap here, but the enemy DD could also cap our base, so it's definitely worth checking out and seeing what's going on here. As I said, we're not that quick. We're going 33 knots. We don't have the British steering, British propulsion, where if you turn, you don't lose much speed. We do lose plenty of speed in the turns, and we're actually going to slow down here and just see where that Fubuki is at. I really do think he's still in that smoke screen. I could be wrong, and I'm gonna see if I can maybe torp. Probably move forward actually. Yeah, let's move forward and just go cover our base just in case, because if he caps that base, I'm pretty much the only one that can deal with it besides that battleship, but he's having a fun time dealing with a Molotov and another battleship, so that's probably not a good idea. He has full health though, but that can change depending on what he does. So I've decided here, let's go help out the Molotov, help kill the Molotov and the New Mexico, because, oh, there's the DD. Alright, see if we can open up on him. We're going to open up a little bit, maybe not worth a shot, but we got 2 hits on him. Still pretty accurate, these guns, despite running that Destroyer to Be Destroyed perk. We barely got spotted, but we did get spotted, so we do need to reposition. Can we hit that Molotov? Maybe. Maybe could have topped the Molotov there, but I think I'm keeping these torpedoes in stock for the possible Fubuki. We've got the speed boost running. We're going 42 knots. Returning, we're just going down to 38. Even with speed boost, you are fast, yes, but you're still not massively quick. So much quicker than other DDs at the tier. So we're going to push up, and we're hopefully going to ambush or get rid of the Fubuki. He is a little bit behind the island, so that's a bit of a problem. And if we push into that, the what do you call it, the Molotov could punish us. So we got to be cautious about that. You know, we can kill cruisers, but only if they give us broadside. California does get taken down to by the Fubuki, which is unfortunately getting about flooding. So basically, it's 3 of those ships versus myself here. And that's pretty darn rough, and looks like the capture on the enemy base is not going so well. Despite us contesting that base, we are down by 100 and so points. So we're going to fire some nets here, torps here on New Mexico, as what we really want to kill the Fubuki wise is using guns, so we're going to do our best to do that. We're spotted by Fubuki just briefly. We're going to fire what we can, because there's no harm not to. He already knows we're spotted, and we're just using this to turn the guns. Turn traverse on Aigle guns can be a problem. Pre-turning guns is very important, because the guns do turn quite a while. It's kind of a balancing factor, because these are very good guns. So again, we're just going to try and push forward here and defend our base as much as possible, giving our guys time to cap. We land 3 torpedoes on New Mexico, giving us the high caliber, but not quite killing him, which is unfortunate. And he does seem like he's perma-flooding, which is very good. No? Okay, he did stop it actually. Take that right back. But yeah, still. Good hits, but I wish I could do more, but I need to make sure this Fubuki does not contest and cap the base. He does cap, he does push into our trap here, and we're just going to murder him softly with these French baguettes. Yeah, it's an absolute murder fest. Even if he did shoot back, there's nothing he really could do besides disengage. And he does try to disengage, that's what he's trying to do, but these French guns show no mercy. And that should be him dead. There we go. Yeah, okay, that's him dead. Alright, so when I need to engage next closest target, I would go for Molotov, but I think it's easier that I go for New Mexico now that I know he's burned his damage control. Only 2 of us left. If you look at the minimap, by the way, I'm not sure I've noticed this yet. It turns out our team absolutely got melted trying to attack their base. So this is going to be a very hard game if I can carry this one. Again, Aigle, really good torpedoes, only 6 of them though, so you need to be careful about how you send them. The guns are great, but you're not going to win against any cruisers unless you're in the smoke screen and you're shooting AP. And even if you are spotted, you can run and gun because you are a French DD. But in terms of your influence on the battle, you need to be aware of your positioning, because if you don't have the right position, you don't necessarily have the speed to get everywhere you want to, despite what you may think in a French DD. Yeah, you do have the smoke screen, which is nice, but you are limited by the non-main battery booster. But you still have very good gun power as a DD. So we're going to fire some torps here on New Mexico. I don't expect them much to get anything, but I just want to hit 1 torpedo, and there's a chance that he'll do that. Try to hit the 1 torpedo, and that 1 torpedo might cause a flood. I decide to open up with him to make him turn bow on to me. Hopefully he'll turn bow on and he'll take a torpedo. He is set on permafire, and those torpedoes, he dodges them all. That is unfortunate. There was a New Mexico sized gap and he sailed clean through those torpedoes. Unfortunate. I was hoping he'd turn after he saw me. So yeah, unfortunately I'm tied down in this New Mexico, and in a normal situation it would be fine, but the fact that I've got almost well, it's going to be a tough carry, that's going to say. So at this point we're just going to try and gun him down a little bit. We've got plenty of health to play around with. We're going full speed ahead and we're relatively far away for these shells. I know we're only 6 kilometers away, but that's still relatively far, and we can duck and dodge a lot of shells. We do have torpedoes off cooldown. We do need to send them as much as possible. Send in front, a couple in front of him and a couple behind him to make sure that the chances of him dodging are limited. I think though he does actually do the tactical beaching, which actually is a tactical beach. You would have thought, you know. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, I think I get angry at this point and I just go full Frenchman. I just switch to the AP, and you can see the damage the AP does in a broadside battleship like New Mexico. French AP is no joke, even on a destroyer. Don't underestimate it. We do shatter here, yeah, but we're going for the lower belt. Aim slightly higher up, and there we go. So at this point, we're just going to gun it down, because we don't have torpedoes, relatively long cooldown, and we're just going to open up. That destroy be destroyed perk really showing off itself there. But you can see the damage we're doing is not insignificant. We've already penned him 6 times, we've got 3 overpens. He's even angled now, we're just aiming up for the superstructure, and we're still getting reliable pens. We're going to switch to HE just for the guaranteed hits here, and we're turning too fast for his guns to actually catch up comfortably, as you can see. So we're just going up there, aiming up, trying to get the kills here, shattering a little bit on these turrets. Unfortunate, but we're just trying to burn them down. And we should have no problem here. There we go. We do take a hit from some of their secondaries, not a big deal. We switch back to AP because he's giving a broadside on the other side of the ship, and we're just going to butcher him. And you can see the difference there, just 4 pen, it just kind of hurts, really. And then we still can't finish him off. I think he is actually proccing a heal, which is kind of fun. But we do take him down, and that works. We're up to 129k. At this point, unfortunately, we're kind of out of the battle because we've been fighting this New Mexico. While we were focusing this guy, the enemy team did fight and kill a last ship, and he did take out something. So he got a flesh wound, I believe. So that is good. Unfortunate indeed. But he could have took out someone. Leaves me somewhat of a choice here. We do get blind. Well, we do get shot at relatively blind from way over there, and as this is where I say that speed comes into play. We're still running a speed boost, but with a minute 41, it's unlikely we're able to kill all 3 ships in that time zone. It's almost nigh impossible, just because of the pure gun power, especially if I'm turning to avoid future shells coming in from that guy. Again, I don't think I could do anything in this game. It's just a little bit unfortunate. You know, I did need our team to kill things, and unfortunately they did do one. Fortunately they did do one, but it was the flesh wound, so just unlucky in terms of the matchmaking here. I don't know what I could have done more. I would like to do more, but I think this does showcase the power of the Aigle. You can deal with destroyers quite comfortably, assuming you don't get torped. You have the French DD saturation, so you can definitely stay in a fight and stand a little bit longer. The torpedoes are pretty darn punchy, and you've only got 6 of them though, and relatively long reload, but you can build into reload within reason. Recommend don't debuff your guns, especially with reload, and there's a certain way of aiming if you're running destroy be destroyed. Smoke screen is very useful, yes, but again you only have 2, you need to be sparing with it, and speed boost is really good for when you're trying to get out of dodge or trying to get out of situations. I treat it as my 3rd and 4th smoke screen, because you have 2 smokes. That's how I play French DDs. The French DDs, the speed boost is essentially the smoke screen for get out of jail free cards, and with the Aigle you have 2 smoke screens and 2 speed boosts. So you've essentially got 4 get out of jail free cards, which is very effective and very useful. As you can see, we didn't even have the time to engage and kill this Molotov, but yeah, we did what we could. Just a little bit unfortunate we couldn't carry this game, but 129k and a tier 5 ship is not bad at all. So we do 129k, we get a death strike, 1616 XP. Not amazing, but it's a really good demonstration of how the Aigle performs. Unfortunately it was a loss, but I just thought it'd be an interesting game to show you guys, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, catch you next time. Bye for now.